reminisce about some things. Uh, I pray peace upon y'all families this morning. I pray peace upon those who are incarcerated, men, women, and teenagers. I pray that today someone's getting out, someone is going free and not have to worry about parole, not have to worry about the system. Uh, it's a beautiful day outside. Don't know if it want to rain or the sunshine want to come out, but it's a beautiful day. Another blessed day. Can never get enough of giving thanks to God for allowing me to wake up in the morning and have something to say to my just released audience. Uh, Today I picked my title is Time Out because I'm talking more so to the people that's out here in the streets. It's time out, people. It's time out to better ourselves, to better our situation, to better our way of thinking. Because if we thinking in a negative aspect, then we're totally unacceptable to what need to take place in society, and that's being someone that can give someone something good. Cause see, if you're doing bad things, right? You have people that do bad things on a daily basis, but go to church on Sundays. Now we know church don't save anybody, right? But people that does that feel that they doing something good. I think, but if you are one of those type of people, you are not being recognized regardless of whatever you do, because you are living a negative nature during the rest of the week. We ask for forgiveness, right, for what some of the things in which we do wrong, but you can't continue to do wrong and continue to ask for forgiveness every time you do it. But the Bible say that you can, but cause God He forgives us, right? He forgives us, but you have to have a sincere heart. You have to have a sincere heart in doing this. And do you think that you have a sincere heart in doing this if you go back and do the same thing the next day? In prison, right? In prison. Some units, they churches be full. They churches be full of inmates coming for all kinds of reasons. A lot comes for the reason of self and not the reason for God. We have to ask ourselves something. We have to ask ourselves, do we want to continue to live in the matter that we are living if you're doing wrong? See, I know what it's like, right? I know what it's like to be on the streets, living a criminal life, worried about the laws if they're gonna pull you over, worrying about something that you can avoid if you straighten your life out. If you just say to yourself, it's time out. It's time out. It's time out. and I lay here, right, and I be in so much pain, right, and I'm taking these medications, but they don't seem to be working. They don't seem to be working. I can take them and still be in pain. I can take them and still be in pain. And you have to ask yourself, why is it that I'm taking these prescriptions and I'm still in pain? Some just and so we go to thinking that we need to ask the doctor for more medication, for stronger medications, but all the time is that you are really going through something spiritual that you don't even recognize. You don't even recognize, and this God. When I was on the Robinson unit, uh, I was on medium custody. I was aligned too. Couldn't have contact visits. Couldn't make parole. I came up when I was on Robinson. I came up for my first time, and that was 11 years I had been incarcerated. I had to do 11 to come up. Well, yeah, I seen some things go on, right? They had this guy, Icy Mike. Icy Mike was a Crip, and Icy Mike was a beast with his hands. Ooh, Icy Mike was bad. So Icy Mike went to this folk dude, G-Town. G-Town had a gold watch, and a gold necklace. So Icy Mike went to G-Town and said, hey man, hey, let me use that jewel to play on this food I'm about to play on. So G-Town, not thinking of nothing, let him wear it. So he had been wearing it for a while now. So G-Town went to him and said, hey man, hey, let me get my jewelry. Icy Mike say, man, I'm not giving you nothing, man. Get out of my face. You gonna fight for it? G-Town had just got married to this woman and was trying to straighten his life out. But he had a real G out there in the streets. And so the folks told G-Town that, hey man, what you gonna do, man? You gonna let him jack you for your stuff? And so they told him that if you don't think you can whoop him, he'll go a knife. And the dude that was giving it to him, they called him Green Eyes. He gave the knife to G-Town, but G-Town wouldn't take it. So he wouldn't fight for his jury. So they violated him. They violated him, and when they violated, now he a folk, you had some Crips going there also and violating. So uh, he ended up going to solitary, but he wrote his G, and his G was real powerful out there. He called shots out there in them streets. So he sent word back to prison, back to Robinson, that violated him, whoever violated him, whoever made that call out, and whatever worse a violation that you can get is what his G placed on the person that put the violation on G Town. And so the reason why he did that is because they allowed the Crips to come in there and violate the dude, and the Crips ain't had no business violating no folk. So now the guy that was in control over there on Robinson that made this call, now he now he in a world of shock, right? But Green Eyes was the one that that tried to get G Time to go stab Ice and Mike. But they had a Crip dude named Big E. And Big E, he was good with his hand. He was a big old dude. Now, on the rec yard, Big E slapped Green Eyes, slapped him, and Green Eyes didn't fight back. Yeah, I'm having a blessed day. I'm always uh, thankful for a blessed day because I have something to say. But uh, Big E slapped Green Eyes, and Green Eyes didn't fight back. And Green Eyes was the folk. So all the folks got together and told Green Eyes, "What's up, man? You gonna fight Big E? Cause if not, man, if you don't feel like you can whoop him, here go a knife." See how fate does the same thing he tried to do to Green Eyes. It reflected back on him. So he wouldn't go stab Big E. So they violated him. You know what I'm saying? See, when we when we do these things, right? When we call these shots up on people, but when it's up on you, you can't stand the pain. You can't stand the pain, right? And you know, and I watch this here on a daily basis by being incarcerated with gangs. I was on Telford Unit. And on Telford Unit, when a blood or a crip, any kind of gang member, do something in a violation, they would go to the, say like he got a case, right? Well, they'll go to the Sarge and tell the Sarge to tear the case up because they going to violate it. So the Sarge would literally let them violate the gang member. They would go in the murder purpose room and where the search is desk at, and the Sarge was standing there, watch them violate that person. Yeah, this is things that was going on in the penitentiary, especially on Telford. And so you have to ask yourself, man, it's time out. It's time out, man. You know, you got 40 or something year old men still in gangs, still sagging, almost 50 years old, and you in here sagging and stuff. Man, that didn't make no sense. That didn't make no sense to me, right? But it's for each his own, and for each his desire of why they do stuff, right? But I couldn't really explain why would a person that's half of 100 would still want to be in a game. You know what I'm saying? And what positive could you give a person that's younger than you, that's in the gang, and you 50 years old? What can you give him that'll change his mindset? Because see, you wanna share some things with these younger gang members that's positive. I remember uh, I used to talk a lot to some of the younger gang members, right? And they used to come to me and they used to ask questions and stuff. And I would give it to them, and I'm not a gang member. But I was settled with myself. I was that offender that people didn't mind talking to, right? Even if they was in a gang. Cause I was on Styles at one time and I got clicked on. I got clicked on by this folk dude and this other dude that wasn't a folk behind some stuff that was out of my nature. But when my boy Buckwheat, see one of my greatest partners in prison name was Buckwheat, and he was a Mandingo warrior to the heart. Man, he found out that them dudes clicked on me. Man, Buckwheat wasn't trying to. He ain't like I say when them Mandingo warriors come ride up on your pod, they ain't coming to fight. They come, man. Them dudes packing knives, and man, we rode down on them folk dudes, and telephones was ringing. Telephones was ringing, man, because everybody wanted to find out, man, what Dre Dog is. Is he a blood or what he a Mandingo warrior? I was neutron. I was neutron. But I had been locked up a long time and I knew a lot of people. And I was affiliated with a lot of gang members, right? I knew them and I was close to them. We hustled and we did a lot of things. And them gang members accepted me. I was like brothers to some of them dudes. And man, like I say, man, you mess with me or anybody in that nature that was like me towards a gang. Man, them gang dudes be ready to go to war, man, behind somebody they cut for. And you can be neutral and they cut for you, man. They ready to go to war. But I remember when uh, I kept, every time I came up, I got a year set off and stuff, 2 year set offs. And because of my disciplinary history. And they kept denying me parole for the same reasons. And that's when I say that you have to ask yourself, you have to truly ask yourself, if you continue to act and do the things in which is not right, do you think you're gonna get out of prison? And if you're in society and you doing these things, do you think you're not going to prison, or your chances of you not getting killed? It's time out. It's time out. It's time out because your lives mean something. Your lives mean something to someone, your children, your mother, your wives, your sisters and brothers. Your lives mean something to people. But you know, man, see, there's a feeling that I have within inside of me, right? Which enables me to continue to bring stories. And, you know, a lot of my stories is not great stories. Or some, you know, a lot of my stories, you know, people don't want to hear about. But if I don't express it, if I don't express some of the things that's in my heart, right, then a closed mouth would never get fed. But I feel that what I express, somebody's gonna listen. Somebody's gonna utilize some of the things in which I express upon their life, and it could be for the better. You know, like when I'm trying to tell people about prison and what goes on, and I know that time has taken place and change, and some places is not the same. But prison can be something that you wasn't even aware of. This is not what I thought it was. This is not what I heard. Because prison changes. Prison don't stay the same. Just like out here in society, it doesn't stay the same. People, it don't stay the same. It changes every day. You can be gone 6 months. Man, it was a great change in them 6 months, especially in the game, in the streets, because new faces pop up while you're not there. And when them new faces pop up and they uh, some aggressive dudes or whatnot, then when you show back up, you know, they be like, you know, who are you? I ain't never heard of you. Oh, I heard of you. Some might have respect for you, some might not. But when you are knocked out the box, if you get knocked out the box, right, from society, then you have to utilize in which you have been knocked out the box and truly get yourself together. Get yourself together is what you're supposed to be doing, not preparing to go out there and with a different plan. Because see, we can come out. I remember I used to go to prison. I used to get out. I went to prison twice before I had got my 45 years. I had a 3 and I had a 7. And each time that I made parole, right, I would have this idea of getting out and coming up. That was the word that we used, man. I'm finna go out there and come up. And basically the only thing you really come up on is a new number. A new number, because I tell you, people are hustling for a lawyer. People are hustling for to make bond. And if he go to prison to buy commissary, he can be comfortable. But their life has to change. It's got to be a time out somewhere in our life. Somewhere in our life, we have to say, man, it's time out with me. It's time out with me. I know there's a consequence in some games to get out, but a lot of games respect you more so when you are at a certain age, and you done put in so much work that they would allow you to remove yourself. And I would think that, I don't know if that's basically true, but I would think that, right? Because, see, in prison I seen some guys that tried to get out, right? And it was a consequence. It was a served consequence of getting out. Some of them, it'd be for life, the way they look at it. And so when I look at these dudes, but I know some of them older cats that I seen that was gang members. I know that even some of the younger gang members would be like, man, why is this man here hanging around us, man? You know what I'm saying? What is this man still trying to be a crip for, or trying to be a blood for? Man, he tripping. Now, when you see the Mandingo Warriors, it's a lot of older cats that's Mandingo Warriors, right? So, but when you see the Crips and the Bloods, they are younger, man. So when you see an older cat that's one of those, he look out of place. But he might be bad, don't get me wrong, because you got some of them old cats, man, that's a beast, man. That's a beast, man, and they love what they represent. And then, man, they get out there regardless. But somewhere, somehow, we have to gain the strength to say, it's time out. It's time out with me. Because if you don't give yourself a break, then what you've been doing to people could happen to you. Could happen to you. What took place in the process of your life and what you have been doing towards others can reflect back up onto you. That's why I was telling you about G-Town, the situation. I was telling you about Green Eyes, the situation. I remember back when I was on Robinson, the RUs and Mexican Mafia was going to war. And they went to war for a long time. But what amazed me is that none of them cats was 5'7". All of them dudes was about 5'5", 5'3", 5'4". But I give it to them, they had a heart, but they was doing some stupid stuff, right? And what I mean by that is that they would go into the chow house and start a ride, go off. They'd be down the highway and go off, and what happened is we had a warden named Cook. Cook would lock everybody down. It didn't matter. So when these gangs was, cause they was Hispanic dudes, when they would do this, so Warden Cook said, well, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. He went and locked all Hispanic dudes up on the whole farm, locked them down on a tank by themselves. And these dudes would not have one fight that we know of. the whole time that they had them on the tanks living among one another. So they stayed locked down for a minute. So Cook and them let them back up. So they was one in commissary that day. And they all went to store. They all bought something for their homeboys because they knew what they was about to do. So as soon as all of them went to store, they kicked it off. They kicked it off and got us all locked down again, right? Now, what's done happened is you done pissed the Crips, the Bloods, the Mandingos, and the Neutrons. And you done pissed them off now. Because seem like, every time something take place, y'all do it in a matter where somebody else is getting in trouble behind y'all actions, right? So what took place was everybody went on the rec yard one day. We was on 7 buildings and we all fell out there on the rec yard. And what came about was is that we not taking no more of these dudes getting us locked down. So we all went to the Hispanic people of Mexican Market and stuff because there was a lot of Mexican Market over there. So we went to them and told them that the next time that they kick something off, then we all gonna get involved. And we talking about a lot of blacks, white boys, they gang. And we all came together. And we told them if they kick something else off in one of these hallways or these chowers, that it's gonna become a racial thing. Well, they stopped doing it. They stopped doing it, and also Warden Cook, when he seen what they did by going to commissary and everything, man, Warden Cook locked the unit down again and took all the property from every Hispanic person and locked them down. They was on the tanks with no food, no nothing. It kind of broke them a little bit. That kind of broke them. They kind of with the other races of people tripping and warding them or doing them like they did, they came up with a different mindset of how they took care of their business. Because sometimes, some gangs get totally disrespectful towards the people that's living around them, right? It doesn't matter, because they gonna take care of their business. But when you take care of your business and it reflects on everybody, then everybody's not gonna really take it like that. They're not gonna take it like that. Something's gonna change. Something gotta change. But it's time out, people. It's time out because I know you tired of living like you're living. A lot of us are tired of living like we've been living. So it's time out. It's time out. Make your mind up. Do what's right. Yeah, it's hard to do right. Easy to do wrong. But the right outweighs the wrong. The right outweighs the wrong. And them people that used to love you will start back loving you when they see the change in you. And I know you all love those who love you. I know you do. It's time out, people. It's time out. This is Andre Wade with Just Release. Don't forget, when you tell somebody about Just Release, tell them hit that like button. Hit that like button, because ain't no telling what I might come back with next. But you can bet one thing for sure. I will be back to express something else. I love y'all, and I appreciate y'all, and I hope this episode reflected on somebody's emotion. It reflected on somebody's emotion because I know you can relate to what I'm talking about. So until next time, I'm out.